Alright, we have more typography content in this one. So in this After Effects tutorial, we're going to be talking about creating typography motion posters. Hey, what's going on internet? This is Josh Noel from SonduckFilm. Welcome to our channel. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hope everyone's doing excellent today. So typography motion posters allow you to just fill up the entire composition with the same title, or it can be multiple titles. But in this one, we're going to be talking about 3 specific techniques to help you fill up your compositions with titles. So you can really get your information in front of people's faces so they just can't miss it. Like, hey, I didn't see that title. No. You see all the titles in this one. So let's jump in, let's get started. And let me give you a huge shout out to Envato Elements. If you're looking for seamless typography templates like this for After Effects, they have a handful of templates under Envato Elements, which you can easily download with their subscription, which gives you access to music, sound effects, stock footage, photos, website templates, and just so many more things. I have a 70% off on the first month link in the description. If you do sign up through that link, you will get 70% off on that first month through Envato Elements. All right, here we are in this beautiful piece of software. And of course, you can download project files if you want to have this as a template. So this is the first example we're going to create, and here we are in our tutorial composition. I already have a title in here. It says Dogecoin to the moon. Fun fact, I owned 110,000 Dogecoins in December, and I sold them at 0.004 cents. Yeah, don't want to be that guy, but I am that guy. Anyway, once you have your first title in here, actually the only title that you really need for this example, grab your title layer and go to Layer Pre-Compose, call it Placeholder, and click OK. Then what you're going to do is go back into that previous composition, double click it, go up to Composition and click on Composition Settings, and all you're going to do is come here and close in the width to be right on that title, just like that. And we'll come here and just bring down the height as well to kind of close in there. We'll come back and adjust this in a second, but that's good enough. Okay, so then you go back into the previous composition, and what we're going to do here is go to Effect, Stylize, and we're going to grab Motion Tile. Now, if you've watched a handful of my tutorials, you know that I use this effect for this sort of thing, so this might be familiar. But we'll come here to Output Width, and we'll go ahead and expand that so it goes across. Then what we'll do is we'll add a keyframe for Tile Center, and actually we can maybe move this over by a little bit by bringing the X value there. We can start it off there if we wanted to. Go to the end of our composition, we'll say 10 seconds, and we'll just animate this over to one side. And then you'll have this seamless animation that will go on forever. And I'm kind of putting my hand in front of the monitor here as if I'm trying to talk with my hands, but you can't see my hands. Anyway, that didn't make any sense. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll also come here to the output height, and we'll go ahead and increase that. And that's good for now. We might have to come back and readjust this in a second. So we'll take our placeholder here and we'll go to Edit, Duplicate. And we'll go to Effect, Generate Fill. We'll change the color to something else completely so we can see what we're doing. That should be fine. And we'll go ahead and move this layer up so we can have some space in the middle there. Okay, so that's totally fine. What we'll do here is come back here to the first frame, and we'll uncheck the, click the stopwatch for Tile Center, and we'll add another keyframe there. And we'll move to the end, and this time we will have it go in the opposite direction. This way it'll have some, animation contrast, and we'll kind of make sure that's kind of, lined up best we can. And, that's cool. Then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna grab these 2 placeholders and we'll pre-compose them. You can call it Seamless Ready or whatever you want to call it. Perfect. Okay, before we do anything, let's go back in the previous composition, and this time go back to Composition Settings here at the top, and make sure that the width and height is a box. So we'll do 1920 by 1920. Click OK. All right. So then all we're gonna do here is just increase the output height until we fill up everything, and that's fine. So now that everything's set up, we can start creating this really cool, hilly type of poster. So what we'll do is go to Effect, Perspective, and we're gonna grab CC Cylinder. We'll come here to Render, and we'll set this first one to Outside. And we're just going to move this over to the side of the composition, kind of like this. That's fine. And we'll come back and change some settings in a second, but let's go ahead and take this layer, let's duplicate it. This time around, we'll go to Render and set it to Inside. And we'll move this over right there. So the goal here is to kind of match things up. Now, you're not going to be able to perfectly do this. This looks pretty good. But to match up the words, you go to Rotation and rotation, there we are, and you go to Rotation Y, and you can really just try to match it up as best as you can. Now also you'll notice that the words are inverted. There's also a cut here. First things first, go to Layer, Transform, and click on Flip Horizontal. That will get the words all correctly. And to fix the cut, you just have to adjust the rotation Y. So we'll go ahead and kind of match this up where it needs to be. And then with this one, I like to go into the light settings and maybe bring down the light intensity by a little bit and go into the shading and bring down the diffuse and ambient. And this will make this a little bit darker on the inside. Go ahead and adjust those settings. You'll have to find something that works for you. And then we go back to the previous one, go to the light settings and the shading settings, and we can bring up the ambient and diffuse just by a touch here. You can also increase the specular. I think that's a good touch. But really, we're just trying to create some contrast by playing with the color controls here. So, the inward parts look a little bit darker, and as it comes out, it looks a little bit brighter. And when you're happy with everything, you can take these layers, you can duplicate them, bring them up, and we'll do the same thing. Bring over here, and you just have to go through the Y rotations to make sure that these match up where they need to be. So by playing with the Y rotation, I think this looks pretty good. Now we can take some final touches here to make this a little bit better. What we'll do is go to Layer, New, Null Object. We'll grab everything, parent it to the null. What we could do is hit R on the keyboard for rotation. We can rotate this by a little bit, just the position if you over rotated it, so I'll bring it up by a touch. That's pretty cool. We can also help make this pop a little bit. We can go ahead and go to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer, and always add the noise effect, or you don't always have to, it's just my style, I always do it. And I'll go to Layer, New, Solid, and we'll just create a very, a off black background right there, and click OK, and bring it to the bottom. This will stand out a little bit more. Just do it on your end, you'll see a difference. It's up to you if you want to keep that, just a tip. And just a quick preview here, here's what we have, a really cool seamless title with these cylinder thingies here. It just looks really awesome, and now that's the technique in the books. And before we move on to our next technique, I want to give a huge shout out to our Motion Graphics Professionals pack right here for After Effects. So this is our Motion Graphics Professionals pack, which has over 1,400 templates right here for After Effects, along with a handful of categories. But one category we'll take a look at is the titles. So what you can do is preview a template before you apply it, and when you find the right template, you click on Apply. And with a click of a button, we have a full title animation inside of our composition. We can go into that comp and quickly change out our titles, and you can easily change colors with a click of a button. And everything will update in our main composition. This animated background is from our Motion Graphics High Tech category, where you can just apply a really cool background. We also have some really cool particle overlays in here as well that you can apply into any After Effects project. So if you're looking to save time, produce awesome work, and have access to all the templates that you need for any project you're working on, you can take a look at any of the packs we have off the website. I will link them in the description below. If you do pick up anything, you will be supporting our channel, so thank you very much. All right, so our second technique is this one right here. And it's automated, so you're not like animating each layer out individually. It's a lot of fun, easy to do. So we'll come over here to our composition. I already have a placeholder in here. I'll go into that real quick and show you what I've done. I basically just have two titles just going into each other like this. You have Dogecoin and Meme Coin. Just go ahead and set that up. You can go to composition settings and just crunch down on the edges there. You don't have to do that. I suggest doing it. Then you go ahead and pre-compose that, and you can bring it into a main composition. Now, of course, me using Dogecoin isn't me giving financial advice. If you're taking financial advice from a After Effects YouTube channel, you're probably doing it wrong. So anyway, let's do this. So once you have your title in here, what you're going to want to do is set this up for success. So we want to be able to have this animated out automatically. So what we're going to do here is we'll come here to the ellipse tool and click on the word fill, make sure it's set to none, click OK. Click on the word stroke, set the solid color, click OK. And we're going to use a stroke width really high, that's over 700, okay? And what we're going to do is draw out a perfect circle like this. We'll make sure it's in the center of our composition. And what we want to do here is make sure this is all centered up. Make sure the anchor point is in the center, so you control double click the pan behind tool here at the top, and the anchor point will be right there in the middle. Then you come here to the beginning of your composition, hit Asterisk on your keyboard for scale, add a keyframe for that. And we'll bring the scale down to 0%. We can move forward maybe to 2 seconds, maybe a little longer, and we'll go ahead and set this up like so. All right, so the entire goal here is, maybe at frame 5 or so, is we'll go into the shape layer, go in the contents, go to ellipse 1, go to stroke 1, and add a keyframe for the stroke width. And then right past the last keyframe there, we'll go ahead and set the stroke width down, so we can kind of open this up like that. That's fine. So what should happen here, this animates in, this hole comes in like that, perfect. All right, what we'll do is grab both keyframes, hit F9 and make it easy ease keyframes. And simply, I'm gonna alt click the stopwatch, and I'm gonna type in loop out, capital O, open and close parenthesis. You can copy the expression and paste it to the scale as well. So you have it set to both, and this will go on forever. That's great. Then what we'll do is take this layer, we'll pre-compose it, we'll call it matte, click OK. We can turn it off because we don't need it. And I'm going to hit S on my keyboard for scale, and I'm going to alt click the stopwatch, and I'm going to paste in this expression. I'm going to put it in the description, but it's this expression right here. Make sure that that layer is named matte exactly, and you just copy that right in there. This will be in the description of the video, or you can pause the video and just copy this expression into this scale. So now what's going to happen is that this will kind of just flick on and flick away, and it'll go on forever. Now the goal here is to take this title and simply duplicate it, right? And then we can bring it down one, and we'll take these two, we'll duplicate it down, and we'll continue to do this. Maybe to right there, that's fine. And we'll bring it up, and then we'll take all the placeholders, we'll duplicate them. We can bring them over to the side here, and we'll duplicate it one more time, and we'll bring it over to the right side. So what's going to happen here is that the matte is going to animate this on like this. You can go back into that original layer, and if you want to slow down the animation, you can spread out the keyframes. But now this will be activated by that matte, and that's really cool. And now what I suggest doing here is going to layer, new adjustment layer, and go to effect and go to expression controls, grab a color control. You can go ahead and change this to any color you want. And we'll come here to one of the placeholders. We'll go to effect, generate fill, and we'll alt click the stopwatch for color. Go to the adjustment layer, grab the parent pick whip tool there, and parent it to the color control. And then copy the fill effect and just paste it randomly to different layers. This way you can have a little bit of color in this, and you can easily change the color of this later on in your edit or whatever you're looking to do. This way it kind of breaks it apart. Alright, so that looks really cool technique here. Now for the third technique, I want to kind of implement it into this work because I want to take care of the edges here. And we're going to do that by taking a title that will constantly be animating around, just like that. So what we'll do is we'll just type out a title, and you can say whatever it needs to say. And we'll come here to the top, we'll grab the rectangle tool, and all we're going to do is draw a box around the composition like this. Make sure that the mask, you created a mask for your text layer. And then you go into the text layer here, you go to path options, and you set this to mask 1. And we'll just kind of just bring this into view like this, and that's fine. And what we'll do is we'll alt click the stopwatch for first margin and type in time * 1000. Maybe go a little bit slower. I don't know how fast that is. And then we'll go to effect, time, and we're gonna grab echo. And what we'll do here is hold down control on our keyboard, and we can just bring this title over here, just like that. And then we increase the number of echoes. And you'll see, boom, it takes up, all that space there. All right, when it's all said and done, you can have a cool composition like this put together by using the echo effect for your side titles. So that's our tutorial on creating these seamless motion posters right here for After Effects. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to our YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we post multiple post-production tutorials every single week right here on the channel. You can also hit me up on my social media networks. Those links are below, and always be creating.